How to Run Profitable Retreats podcast, the podcast that guides you not to only host retreats that thrive financially, but also transform people's lives. I'm your host, Lainey Cavazos, and each week I bring you the best strategies and personal insights to help you create retreat experiences that transform lives, both your clients and your own. In our journey together, we'll dive into the secrets behind successful retreats, from crafting a unique atmosphere to mastering the logistics that ensure profitability. Whether you're tuning in for inspiring interviews with leading retreat experts or seeking actionable advice in our solo episodes, this podcast is your go-to resource for turning your retreat visions into reality. Don't miss out on any of our episodes and subscribe now. For more tools and a free guide on creating your own six-figure retreat business, visit theretreatplanner.com. Now let's get started and make your retreat dreams come true. Hi. So this talk is going to be about if you need to hire a photographer and or videographer for your retreat. I am super passionate about this topic because I have run so many different photography shoots, and it's so important for us to have content that really portrays what we're offering and not only stock images. Now you can find beautiful images in different places, for example, Pexels.com or Unsplash, that they're royalty free and you can use them. So there are certain images that you can definitely use when you're promoting your retreat. But something that is beautiful, and I recommend that it's done at least on the first couple of retreats, so you get something that is really positive about it, and you can share with people, and people can see the transformation, the experiences, their faces, their emotions, their feelings, everything that is happening throughout your retreat, is to actually hire a photographer and or videographer. Nowadays, videography converts so much more than photography, but it's always important to have still photography as well. Don't forget that once you're putting a website sales page, maybe you will add one video that shows how your retreats are, but you probably need to add more pictures than just videos, so your page doesn't become extremely heavy, and then later on you actually end up with a lagging page and people don't want to wait. The internet is so fast these days, and people don't have the patience to actually wait for a page to load like it used to be in the past. So very important in this sense to actually get a photographer and videographer. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in detail, and then I'm going to give you some options on how you can do this, that it's the best way that is possible for you and it serves you in the most positive way. So what do you want to make sure that happens when you hire a photographer and videographer is that you create a brief of what images you want to capture during the retreat. It's also very important to keep in mind how are things going to happen in the flow of things, and there are certain activities that are very sensitive when it comes to your feelings or the people, the retreaters. If it's a very, very deep transformational experience, let's think about maybe something with plant medicine, or if it's something that is really like hypnotherapy and transgressional therapy, where people just start crying and really releasing their emotions, it's probably not the best time for a photographer to be clicking pictures in front of you. How you can surpass this? Maybe you can ask them to take pictures afterwards when they're happy and they see the pictures of release. And then it's very, very important to make sure that people are aware that they're being photographed or videographed, and that you get a release form so you can use that on your social media channels, your website, or any marketing material that you will create in the future. If you don't have a release form from each single person that is on the photo, you are not allowed to actually use it in any promotional materials because you don't have the right to use this person. What I do is on the waiver that people sign when they're coming to a retreat, I ask them to sign that they are allowing us to photograph and videograph them. And then they can tick a box if they don't want to be photographed or videographed. And then from there, you would need to inform the photographer that these people are not supposed to be part of the videos or photos. Some people are very sensitive about their privacy, and they don't want to be out there in the public being showcased. And other people just want to be able to share the experience with the world. And they're extremely happy with getting their photos out there and helping you promote the video because of all the transformation and change that you have created in their lives. So going back a little bit into the brief part, it's very important to do a list of every single thing that you want to be photographed. And you can actually pre-plan certain shots. And something else that I recommend is to include in this photography brief that they will take pictures of you solo. Group pictures convert the most on social media. And I have tested so many different ads and posts to see which one works best. But group photos always perform better. But also sometimes if you're taking a shot of a group photo, it is possible that maybe there is a thermos of water on the picture, that it's not perfect, that the mats are not aligned. So you need to consider that this is a possibility that might happen. So you want to make sure that you actually have photos of just you teaching. This is also great usually for Instagram. If you have an Instagram that is very pretty and beautiful and you share pictures of you. So make sure that besides the practices that you're doing, they schedule 1 hour just for you to actually experience what it is to have a personal photo shoot. This will also help you on your website if you have to have a page with a bio and so many other things. So just recapping on the photography. It's very important that at least on the first couple of retreats, you get a photographer and or videographer to really record what happened in this retreat. Now, there is an asterisk in this conversation. Sometimes the retreats are extremely, extremely personal. Sometimes there's even nudity, and you're probably not gonna get people to be very thrilled about being photographed or videographed in that scenario. When the retreats are very raw and they really go very, very deep with certain practices, sometimes it's just better to actually recreate a shoot. How would you do this? It's kind of also nice in the sense that it's a rehearsal for your retreat, for the practice that you're going to teach. But you can also control more the environment, the place where the pictures are taken, to make sure that everything is happening. I don't want to take away the reality, the sense of reality of actually having a real photo shoot based on your teachings. So I recommend that you actually run through the teachings, but you have people there that are willing to be photographed and videographed through this process. A beautiful way is just to ask your friends and family to join you to practice this experience and let them know that they will be photographed and this is for marketing materials and purposes. Another great idea is also to actually get other facilitators that are very interested in creating content for themselves and just hiring a venue for one day, a venue that is beautiful, but it's also kind of generic in the sense of getting shoots for every single person. So you are the student at some point for someone, but then later on, this other facilitator will be your student. This is a beautiful, great way to create content around everything and then create this collaboration. People can share the pictures and they can tag you. So this is also beautiful for exposure in other networks. It's just important to make sure that once you're doing this collaboration, you get also again a brief of the pictures that you want to get. So you make sure that everyone gets a fair share of images that they can use. Sometimes when you have too many heads in one place, it's harder to get this. I also recommend that if you're doing this in any other way, like or a private shoot for yourself, is to create maybe a Pinterest board with the type of pictures that you would like to get taken off. So the photographer already has an idea of what you're looking for and what you want to create. So this is very, very important when it comes to photography. So on the recap, we have why it's important to choose one and how to have a brief. That there needs to be a release form, and that you can create a Pinterest board to really get more information about what you want to get out of this photo shoot. You can also create this pre-arranged photo shoot with more people. So if you want to have group photography and maybe the topics are very sensitive and you won't feel comfortable sharing with doing it during a retreat. Now, the last part is how to hire a photographer. There are different ways to hire photographers. It's very important to keep in mind that sometimes photographers are a little bit expensive, mainly if you are flying in someone or taking them to a new location, because again, you have to pay for the rooming, the lodging, you have to pay for the meals, you have to pay for transport and all this other shit. So finding a local photographer and videographer is always a great way. I always like to ask for referrals because I have the experience. Actually, this happened to me in Egypt, and it was by referral. I got pictures of my event in front of the Giza pyramids that made absolutely no justice to it. The event was absolutely beautiful, and the pictures that I got were horrible. And I created a brief. I had a meeting with them before. I didn't leave anything to chance, but it turns out the photographers were just not qualified to do this job and to really portray exactly what I was doing. So this is one way. You either bring a photographer from outside and you pay for the expenses, you hire a photographer that is on location. Sometimes places that where you rent, they already have someone that they can suggest, or some places might even have an in-house photographer and you can just hire them and they just come whenever you really need to make these shots happen. So you get charged for that instead of like the whole overall weekend. It's so important to actually get to hire the right person for the job. I hope this video was helpful and you get to know a little bit more about photography and videography and why it is so important. On another talk, I'm gonna really talk about how to get testimonials. And actually, video testimonials are a great way to do it. So this is another conversation and I hope you get to join it and see what I'm talking all about. Thank you.
Wow, what a great episode. If you like our podcast, How to Run Profitable Retreats, leave us a review and share it with a friend. And do you want to create a six-figure retreat business? I invite you to join my upcoming masterclass, Epic Retreats Live, where you will learn my system to create transformational and profitable retreats. All the details are in the caption. And if you're ready to start your journey today, book a call with me to find out what would be the best next steps. See you next week.